Hi, and welcome to the Beer Temple. I am Chris Quinn, and I am giddy with excitement today because I have a pretty rare beer here today to open up. It is actually sitting right here. This is the infamous, the famous, however you want to say, depending on your affinity for waiting in lines, Dark Lord Russian Imperial Stout from Three Floyds. Really one of the first cult beers that I can recall. Certainly the one that kind of sets the bar for beer releases. Beer releases have become a much hyped thing. People kind of hunt beers, and this is certainly a much hunted beer. It is a massive Russian Imperial Stout with Intelligentsia Coffee, a local coffee roaster here in Chicago. This beer was released yesterday. This beer is released one day a year, and you have to kind of jump through hoops to get a bottle of this stuff. Pretty gnarly. So really excited to try this beer, but I was thinking, I don't know, it's just not, one bottle of Dark Lord is not really a lot, so maybe let's pull on this guy. This is last year's. Maybe we'll do a side-by-side and see how it ages. Maybe we'll do another, pull another one in there too. How about that? And this. And this. And this. And this. Now, that is something to be happy about, to be excited about. Yeah, so I've got 7 years of Dark Lord. I've got 2013, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, and 7 all here. Gonna taste through them all, see how they taste for you guys. Store opens pretty soon, but I will take as much time as is needed. I don't have my dump bucket, so I will use a glass. It'll look nasty, but so what? And yeah, so let's see how this beer ages. Let's see. Now when I'm doing a vertical, I like to start from the most recent year and work my way back. A lot of people like to start with the oldest because that's the coolest one to try. I think what I like to do is see, in fact, yeah, I should probably pour it for you guys this way. See how it starts and then how it ages. So I've got a lot here. It's going to be a lot of the same beer. I got a lot of comments on my Moloko vertical tasting. So I did a 4-year of Moloko milk stout from Three Floyds. So I figured, why not, you know, try it out with some Dark Lord. Beer pours very, very thick. It's very viscous. It was a dark, deep brown as I was pouring it. Even the thin little thread of beer as it was coming out was dark brown. Holding it up to the light, I can't even see through at the center part where it is. So big, big, viscous beer. You can like see it just sitting on the side of the glass, slowly like working its way down. You can tell there's a lot of booze in here. I don't know exactly what percentage it is, or if it even says. You know, well over 10%. I would say probably well over 13%. There's a lot of like sweet caramel, and toffee. It's incredibly fruity. And I have to say, I had this beer yesterday at Dark Lord. So this is the one that I kind of am familiar with, the only one. I've had them all before, but obviously I haven't had these in quite a while. So huge red apple, red delicious apple skin and flesh. There's definitely some savory umami soy components to it and caramel. So you got this, you know, savory, sweet, and fruity. Not a bad start. Not getting a ton of like chocolate or coffee, considering how big and dark and roasty this beer is. Not as much as I would anticipate. I really like the fruitiness though. I'm getting like, my phone's blowing up. There you go. Let's see how it tastes. Wow. It's good. It's good. It's sweet. But not sticky sweet. It's just on the borderline of sticky sweet. Very big and fruity. Oily. It's got an oily taste to it. Just kind of slides down your throat. leaves you with a big kind of boozy caramel toffee sweetness to it. And I really love the fruit. I don't remember ever having a Russian Imperial Stout as fruit heavy. Just tons of like cherry and apple. Really, really nice. Not the green apple, not acetaldehyde, but good, like fresh apple. Stuff's pretty good. And I will say right now, I am not the biggest Dark Lord guy in the whole world. You know, I think a lot of it is hype, but I go there, it's a blast, I have fun every year. I also have to say, in my last 2 now epic shows where I did the blind tasting of all the barrel-aged stouts, and now this one, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather again. I'm sorry if I look a little haggard, because I feel a little haggard. So let's go to the red cap. This is last year's. This is 2012 Dark Lord. I'll try to pour it like this. This is one that everyone, man, this one pours like syrup. Wow. About the same color as the last one. This one is infamous for being very, very sweet and soy saucy. So it is more soy. It does have some of those similar apple notes to it, not as pronounced. It's got a lot of toffee, a lot of toffee. When you take a big inhalation, you get a lot of that soy sauce as well, a lot of like teriyaki, you know. And dark chocolate as well. I like it, and it's got like a pear thing going on as well. I do like the fruit on it. It's surprising. It's not these like raisins and dates and dark fruits. It's lighter fruit, which is interesting for such a huge, massive beer. More carbonation. It is sweet again. You know, these are beers that I like in tiny little sips. I don't know if I would want a whole glass of it. The carbonation is nice. It kind of cleans it. It is still so slick though. It is nice. It's got more of that kind of pear, still some of that cherry as well. Much more of that umami, that savory quality to it as well. I wouldn't say it's too sweet, but I think you probably want some food. One thing that I think people don't understand, or I don't think they do with Dark Lord is have it with food. You know, I mean, a great bottle of wine, you don't just sip on its own. You pair it with something and they kind of play off each other. I think a lot of this all at once, just sip after sip, is too much. Pair it with something, break it up, and then go back to it, and you'll start to explore the flavors a little bit more. Not bad though. Let's move on to 2011. Hard to get these wax caps off, man. Let's see. 50 cents. I open in 3 minutes. Not gonna happen. Like I said, I'm taking my time. Again, this one pours thick. It has the consistency of like motor oil. This one actually kind of has the color too. A lot of times when something's totally black, you say it's like motor oil. But if you pour motor oil, it's not. You know, dirty motor oil can be black, but when you pour fresh motor oil, often, you know, it's not black. It's kind of got this color to it. Oh my gosh, the coffee is exploding out of this one. I mean, pronounced difference from these two. And it's so fun. It's kind of got like a Mexican chocolate thing going to a little bit of spice. Oh yeah, not as sweet. Has that coffee flavor and still the fruitiness. I love how fruity this beer is. Man. Good amount of carbonation, just kind of lift some of that slick, oily mouthfeel off. Really nice. I love it's like a coffee ground, you know, not brewed coffee, but just like ground coffee. And now I'm getting much more like of a fudgy note as well. Really good. This one kind of grows and develops on your palate as well. I love how it goes from kind of coffee to fruit and then kind of the chocolate, like deep fudge, missing some of those savory notes as well, some of the umami and soy. Definitely a step above the previous two. Okay, check my time here. All right. See how this guy pours. This is the 2010. This one I loved, fresh, I remember, but it had a metallic note to it when I had it at the time. So let's see. Probably haven't had this beer in quite a while. A little more muted, a little darker chocolate with like black cherry dipped in it. It's starting to show some muted tones. It's not popping out of the glass anymore. It's still delicious though. I love the carbonation, how it brings it up off your palate. Really, really nice. Might have to turn off the ringer for a sec. If you want to maybe... The lovely Margaret.
Hi, everyone.
Margaret, could you do me a favor? Could you walk around and tell everyone we're going to open like 5 minutes? We'll open in like 5 minutes. So I'm just finishing up, getting ready, getting the beers ready for everybody.
All right.
Thanks so much. The lovely Margaret, everyone. Yeah, just a little more muted than the previous ones. I don't get that metallic note, which is nice. A little cola as well, like a cherry chocolate cola thing. Again, there's hints of coffee there, but it's funny how the coffee just explodes out of this guy right here. I would probably say this is my second favorite, maybe third. I do kind of like just that massive, interesting apple note here. Very cool. All right, we're getting down there now. 2009, the white cap. I think this might have been the first year they did the tickets. I'm not sure. The golden tickets, which I might have one. Do you want? Don't have my golden ticket on me, but anywho, this one's like dusty. It's been sitting in my cellar for years and years, probably since Dark Lord Day, untouched, since '09. Might have moved it once or twice. This guy is viscous. I don't know if you heard that, like pouring out, darker, super viscous. I mean, talk about how it coats. Looks like there's very little carbonation, and my glass is now like brown from it. Look at that thing. You cannot see through this hardly at all. It's very still. Starting to get some oxidized notes to it. I'm starting to get a little bit of cardboard in here. Now, maybe these are my cellar conditions, but I'm still getting a ton of soy as well. Some dark cherry, chocolate cherries. Wonderful slick mouthfeel. Good fruit. Fruit and like a nice, it's soy in a good way. It ends with a weird kind of papery note to it. I think this guy is starting to fade on me, but we'll see. Maybe it pops up and gets better again. Maybe it's a bad bottle. Maybe it's how I stored it. So yeah, starting to get a little bit of that bad oxidation. You know, kind of smells like a little bit of a damp basement. Okay, we are down to 2008. Let me set it over here. Maybe this is how to do it here. 2008. Okay. Wow. What a dark beer. Wow, unbelievable. Everything okay, Margaret?
Yeah, they're anxious.
Hey. All right. Hey, Nick. A little more carbonation than the last one. Still, it pours like friggin' motor oil. It's cleaner. It's more muted. It doesn't have that oxidized quality to it, which is nice. Big chocolate. big chocolate here. Man, oh man, this is awesome. It's got an interesting chalky note to it, with just massive amounts of chocolate. Definitely the chocolatiest one. It's lacking the umami, and the fruit is muted. Very little coffee as well, but this one is wonderful as well. I mean, it's just the most stout-like. Just massive amounts of roasted malt in here. This one's pretty darn good. All right, well, let's see. In 2007, man, I can't remember the last time I've had one of these. It's probably been 4 years since I've had a 2007 Dark Gourd. All right, let's see. 07 Dark Gourd. I love the wax on this one too. Oh, it's tilted up. 1204. All right. Oh man, I mean, this one might be the darkest yet too. All right, pour myself a little more. It's my last one. All right, good amount of carbonation. I mean, shoot, this thing is black. Even at the edges, it's absolutely black. Again, it's just coating the glass here. A little bit of oxidized quality. I'm getting some dark, bitter chocolate, bitter black chocolate. Not as much fruit. No coffee either. The thickest, the most viscous of all of them. I'm getting some of those meaty, savory qualities. This is like a meat quality to it. Not as much soy as just like a meatiness to it. Could be some issues with the yeast putting off some of those flavors. You know, kind of dying, and when they explode, when the yeast explode in their guts, basically taste meaty. A little oxidized as well. Darn good beer. Has an interesting kind of weird, fruity soy note at the end. It's the first time I'd ever get the soy there. It's good. A little past its prime, but then again, this one was so good. Man, that was good. If I had to now put my favorites, I think I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, 5. I don't know. It could maybe go like this, and then these guys like this, probably. Maybe this. Wow, that was fun. It's really great to see. I mean, it still has legs at the end of it here, even, you know, 2007, that's six years later. It still has legs. I would say, you know, 4 years is probably as good as it really, I didn't notice it kind of gaining any complexities after that. So if you have some, you know, feel free to drink or not drink them, but don't expect them to get much, much better. I'll turn this off. Guys, thank you so much. I hope this was interesting to you. It certainly was to me. I've got to open up my store late, as always. Again, it's 12:07. But guys, thank you so much, as always. I've said it before, and I always mean it, and I especially mean it right now. Thank you guys so much. Check us out on the interwebs. We're all over the place. Thank you so much for your ratings and reviews. Let me know what you thought of this. Was it interesting? Could you tell I was hungover? Could you tell I was rushed? As always, thanks so much, guys. I've got to go. I've got to share these. So at the store now, I am now opening the store up and going to share this with everybody. Let everyone have some of this with me. So until next time, guys, I've got some great beer to drink, and hopefully you're outside waiting in line to try it too.